Hello, everyone. Welcome into Post-Show Headlines. I'm Andrew Salciunas with John Kincade. We do this every single day, 5 topics, 2 minutes apiece. Please like and subscribe.
That's very formal.
Did I say 2 minutes apiece?
I don't know, but you're very formal.
I think I said 2 minutes apiece.
Well, that's all right.
Not a big peach guy.
You said biopic
I did.
earlier, the biopic, which
Listen,
was
man,
great too.
as
It
I
had
always-
us all laughing at the end of the show, which is
I
great.
never
The
hide
Bruce
from my...
Springsteen biopic.
I struggle with a lot of things. I've never lied about
If
that.
Bruce Springsteen was biopic.
It's funny. You guys all know me for me. I don't hide who I am.
No, you don't.
So,
You
yeah.
are unapologetically you.
I said that once to my wife. I said, I'm unapologetically me.
And you are. That's the truth.
That's how it is. So 2 minutes of peach. I'm a nectarine guy because I don't like the fuzzy.
I don't like nectarines or peaches.
Oh, well, that's
How
your
about
own
that?
problem. All right. Ace Bailey, you have a question regarding Ace Bailey.
I do.
And then I will follow up with a question of my own. I want you to
Okay.
go first, though, because that was the big topic of the day. At like right around midnight, we were asleep.
We were dead asleep.
Dylan was out at the clubs.
Not together.
He probably saw it when he was out.
He was getting bottle service.
Yes, he was.
And there may have been a lap dance. We don't know.
Ace Bailey canceling his meeting and his workout with the Sixers. What do you got?
Okay, what kind of things, if you were 18-year-old Ace Bailey,
Okay.
you were 6 days from the NBA draft,
Yes.
what kind of things would be important to you? Because it seems like Ace Bailey's camp is sort of botching this process. If it was 18-year-old Andrew Salciunas in Ace Bailey's seat right now,
Yeah.
in his shoes, what would be important to you? Would be important where you played, who you played with? Because your money's slotted
Yeah.
pretty much. What would be important to you?
Location really wouldn't matter to me. Again, this is coming from somebody that was nowhere close to being drafted by any team, but
Yeah.
I had some college baseball opportunities. I did turn down one because of the location, but that's because I didn't want to play baseball in February outside
In the cold.
in upstate New York.
Yes.
So, and I wasn't going pro, so it wasn't that important. It was not that important to me.
You would have been near Port Charles, though.
Yes,
That
I
would've
would have.
been good.
And that, maybe I could have been on a set of Days of Our
You
Lives.
could have worked for Sonny. Never know.
I think playing time would be one that I would want
So
to have.
see, to me, so if that was an Ace Bailey issue for him, then you'd sympathize with it
Yeah,
and not criticize him for it.
right. Because if I'm, again, like VJ Edgecombe,
Right.
they're going to get him on the court, but he's going to be the fourth guard on this team.
Correct.
Behind Maxey, McCain, Quentin Grimes, how much playing time am I going to get?
That's
And
what
if I'm trying to work on my game, work on my craft to get to the next level.
That's why I declared for the draft. I just don't want to see Ace Bailey raked over the coals. If part of his agenda is I want to go somewhere where I play. And I get to play, and I get to play a lot.
Right.
To me, I don't think that's selfish. I don't think that's rude or obnoxious. I think that's a kid who wants to be able to show his craft. That's why he didn't go back to Piscataway.
Right.
You know?
Now, but I'll
That's
ask,
one of many reasons you don't go back to
but I'll
Piscataway.
ask you, depending on, like, if you're drafted now, obviously NBA draft's only 2 rounds.
Sure.
If you're a football player getting drafted in the 6th round, you better pipe down
Yes.
about playing time.
No, you got to pipe down. You got to pipe down. And if you're a 7th rounder, you actually hope that you're a free agent.
Right.
You don't want to get drafted.
Right,
in the
exactly,
7th round. You want
yeah.
to be a free agent, pick your spot.
All right, now off of Ace Bailey.
Okay.
What are some of your red flags when it comes to a draft process? And it could be any sport. It doesn't have to be basketball specific in this Ace Bailey story because we don't know everything that's going about it. But what are some red flags for John Kincade?
Family.
Okay.
Family speaking for the athlete. The athlete not speaking for themselves.
Okay.
The athlete speaking through an agent. I want a young man who speaks for themselves. The agent can speak with them
Yeah, they can help
in
them.
tandem,
That's got it, yeah.
but I want a young man who is speaking for themselves, not where I have to have every conversation has to be him and dad, him and his brother,
Right.
him and his uncle. No.
But then again,
No,
they're
not having
they're 18.
No,
At
not
least in
having it.
basketball, they're 18.
Not having it. Dad can be in the room, of course. No, big one, biggest one, biggest red flag. No entourages.
Okay.
No traveling entourages. Because my organization, if I own the team or whatever, your entourage is not around my team. Now, they can be there on game night and you can get them tickets.
Yeah.
They can hang out. They're not congregating around my locker room with hall passes.
Mm-hmm.
They're not. No, not happening.
All right, now how much is injury on there? Because
injury history
on the record, I was not thrilled with the Landon Dickerson pick. Because remember, he had season-ending injuries 6 straight years.
It happened a lot.
High school
it happened
and
a lot.
all of college. He had a season-ending injury, not one that was always like 15 weeks. Sometimes it was like, he missed the last 4 games because of an injury.
As long as my doctors told me
it
was a go, I'd be fine. And with Landon, I thought it was cool.
Yeah, but the doctors have told you it's a go for Joel Embiid.
Yeah,
but that's the thing, and he's got an injury history.
Here's the difference. Heart of a lion.
Okay.
Landon Dickerson, I got Nick Saban, I got Bobby, back in the day.
Yeah.
I got the folks there telling me, heart of a lion, fighting to get back in the court, back in the field faster.
Okay.
Having to be held out of the gym. Nick Saban telling you, having to be told, get out of the gym, you're too early, don't push your rehab too fast. I think Joel's more cautious, a more cautious individual.
Okay.
And that may come from the fact, in Joel's defense, that he started playing late.
Yeah, absolutely.
So maybe he didn't trust his body the same way.
Oh, yeah. He grew into that body.
Right.
I mean, you look at the photos of him first playing basketball with Luke Mute.
Right. Exactly.
He was a twig.
And so he doesn't trust his body.
Maybe.
The way Landon Dickerson, there have been thousands upon thousands of players that have gone through Alabama and Florida State that look like Landon Dickerson, are built like Landon Dickerson, that they know how to handle like Landon Dickerson. Joel Embiid's a freak of nature.
Right, absolutely.
And each program is lucky if they get 10 of them in their history.
Right.
So I can understand it with Joel. It's a more cautious nature. It's not a criticism.
Yeah.
It is just a caution.
That's why the falling down thing.
Right, exactly.
He was told by somebody
to do
that.
Whoever taught him to do that.
All right, we had Dick Vermeil on earlier today, who said that the 2024-25 Eagles were better than his greatest show on turf team, which was awesome. What was your question?
I want to ask you something. When he came onto the show, you called him Dick.
Yes.
I was surprised at that. Now, I am really, it's a thing. There's nothing wrong with you calling him Dick Vermeil.
Yeah.
You're
a coach
maybe
guy.
It's because I'm a coach guy.
Yeah. And I said coach during the interview.
Yeah, you did. And you called him coach.
Yeah.
And it was funny because that's what I wrote down here. Then you called him coach. I always address, and it's funny, as we run into Coach Vermeil in places in the borough and everything, we live out in Chicago. I always have addressed, every time I've met Dick Vermeil, I've always called him coach.
Yeah.
Because I am slightly intimidated meeting Dick Vermeil because as a young boy, a grade school kid, Dick Vermeil was the guy that brought the Eagles into, so to me, it's always coach. Whenever I meet one of these guys, it's always coach.
Yeah. Herm Edwards, I call coach, but I'll also call him Herm over the course of an interview.
One of my neighbors, right down the street from me, is Doug Collins.
Yeah.
Doug constantly says, Doug, call me Doug.
Stop calling me coach.
I call him coach every time. And he's like, Doug.
The other day, Mikey Miss, even though this is not coach, this is player, Mikey Miss gave me credit for calling Dr. J Julius.
Yeah.
When I introduced him as, Julius, how you doing? Instead of, what's up, Doc? What's up, Doctor?
Yeah,
Would you have gone Dr. J?
I would say the legend himself, Dr. J Julius Erving.
Okay.
That's how I would.
Well, I did say Dr. J leading up to it, but then when I said,
but when I would
Julius, how you doing?
I would have said, joining us now, the legend himself, Dr. J Julius Erving. I couldn't have said the two of them, but it's just an interesting dynamic. Yeah. But I wondered if it was an age thing with me.
No, because I call people coach, but
I always am every coach. And
when I ended it, I said, thanks, coach. Right. I still remember at the end of the interview, I said, thanks, coach.
When I see, if I pass game day, if I pass any of the Eagles coaches coming on and off the field, in the runways, whatever, I've never called Nick Sirianni Nick.
You call him coach.
Coach.
Well, he's at work. I mean, that's different.
Always coach. I just always am a coach guy. It's just an interesting.
But during all right, so let's say you were in the gaggle of the press conference.
Coach.
Coach.
Always coach.
Because you hear Nick.
Yeah, I know they do, and I always go coach. I'd be coach.
Interesting.
Always coach. It's just me. That's it. But it's weird because people have different ways of going about it too. So it's interesting.
Hold on. Baseball, because they're considered managers. Would you go Skip?
No,
coach or by their first name?
I would go by their first name.
So it's different in baseball.
Yeah, because first of all, baseball with manager, but if they're in the College World Series, they're a coach.
Yeah.
They're not a manager.
Yeah, I know.
Makes no freaking sense.
What's up, Skip? All right. What's your slice of life question that you have here? We got 2 more.
I don't understand this, and it's about you. And we saw something about this on the news yesterday, and I wrote it down. That the majority of Americans identify themselves as a dog person or a cat person. And a small portion of Americans, and I believe you're one of them, identify themselves as a dog and cat person. By the way, it's less than 1 out of 5.
Interesting.
You consider yourself, we've had this conversation often.
I'm more of a dog person.
You are more of a dog person, but you're a dog and cat person.
Yeah.
You like your cat.
I love my cat.
Okay, so you would say you're a dog and cat person.
Yeah, I have different relationships with the 2 of them. Like my dog.
Because cats hate you. Cats don't love us.
My dog is with me all the time. Well, I don't even put her on the leash half the time. She just follows me around.
Dogs.
We're like this.
It's because dogs love you.
But my cat was I was in college when I got him.
How did you get him? Did you
adopted?
Adopted from? Did you find him? Did you go to an
animal shelter? So my wife was working with somebody who was a foster parent or whatever for animals, and she was like, "Oh my God, look how cute this cat is!" And I was like, "Ah, it's cute." I wasn't gonna get it.
Right.
A family adopted Mr. Whiskers, and then a week later said, "We don't want to do this anymore." And I was like, "Oh man, that picture was really cute that you sent me." So I got him.
How can a family do that?
I don't think they took it home.
I
think they got cold feet.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, I think they got cold feet.
How could you? Because to me, I couldn't foster.
Right. Oh, you would. End
We've been offered before. Like, would you ever consider fostering? And I'm like, no.
No, because I would keep the
because
animal.
I would fall in love.
Yeah.
I'd fall in love with a dog in a day.
Yeah, Haley fostered a cat for a day, and then she ended up adopting it.
Now I wouldn't fall in love with a cat for a day. Now I'm deeply allergic.
Right.
To cats.
Now I'm a dog. Ultimately, I'm a dog person because I grew up with a dog, and I have a dog now, and I was always looking forward to the day I could get my dog. But Mr. Whiskers is my bro.
By the way, do you know who makes more money? They had it broken down, so I got all the little things. They did a whole thing on it. Which household incomes?
Cat person.
Dogs.
Wow, really?
It's not even close.
Interesting.
Dog people make more money. Dog people who identify as dog owners, household income significantly higher.
Huh.
Dog people more likely. Dog people more likely to have a successful marriage. Cat people tend to be a little.
Well, I will tell you.
But you're a dog and cat person.
I will tell you.
Yes.
My wife and I lived in sin before getting married. I thought
you didn't have relations.
No, of course not.
You just lived together.
If we did, I'm sorry if this is sacrilegious. If we did the power rankings of sin,
I don't believe me. I don't even.
I feel like living and sex before marriage is not as bad as divorce. In terms of
divorce is worse.
Right. In terms of the power rankings
is worse.
Sin.
But remember though, there are no power rankings of sin.
Oh, they're all equal.
According to the Bible, they're all equal.
So,
because they all think.
In my mind,
or if you would go with what my grandmother would say, I don't remember my grandmother because she was gone before me. But they all are just putting another nail in Jesus's thing. So every one of the time that you did something, it was you were just nailing it.
I think that's not as bad as divorce. So we wanted to live together to see can we survive together,
and test drive.
And then we did dog first before marriage.
So you did.
Can we take care of something?
Oh, you got a dog.
Yes.
Okay.
Can we take care of something before we proceed? Man, you dirty-minded individual. All right, lastly, so
I'm making Dylan laugh, so at least hopefully someone on the
you were telling me about an athlete that wore clothes.
Yes.
That
there is a Max Kepler.
Okay, there you go.
Max Kepler is a fine-looking man.
Sure, yeah.
And Max Kepler dated beforehand. Was tied to some famous female soccer players in his dating history.
Okay.
Well, I have some ties to some famous soccer player females that knew some of these girls that he dated.
Yeah, I hope so.
By the way, they said very good things about Max Kepler, the individual.
Yeah.
So girls, if you're interested in Max Kepler, said very nice things about him, but that he was an awkward dresser.
And then
like he's an awkward European guy.
So you said dorky clothes.
Yes, like the dolphin shorts. The dolphin shorts, like the too high shorts.
Now that
are like the out of date dolphin shorts.
Very common in Europe.
Yes.
As somebody, I've now traveled to Lithuania 3 times. I will be honest, the first time I went, I dressed like this.
And they looked at you weird?
I stood out like a sore thumb. So the last 2 times I've traveled.
You went and bought a Speedo.
No.
And walked around.
I just tried to dress more to what people in Europe dress on a daily basis.
Why?
So all that.
Why?
Because I felt like I wanted to fit in.
Really?
Yes.
Now the strange thing is,
and that's what that's what my question is.
Okay, because that's crazy to me. You'd be the last. You may be the last person in this building that I think would give a damn about that.
Yeah,
that shocks me, because if they said, everybody in this building said to me, okay, going to Europe, who's the person that would least give a damn about trying to fit in?
Right.
Look at you.
Yeah.
You'd be one that I'd go, you. Me, I'd be on the internet looking and going, okay, I want to make sure that I'm not disrespecting the local.
Right.
I'm not doing it. I would be looking and going, okay, you can't wear khakis here.
Yeah.
Can't wear jeans to this restaurant.
Right.
I'd be researching. I'd be thinking, you'd be like, I'm Andrew. I'm showing up. And that's me.
I saw a picture recently at my parents' house of me and my mom in Lithuania the first time we went. And I was wearing a white T-shirt.
How old were you?
I was 18.
Okay, so you're 18.
I was wearing a white T-shirt, a backwards cap, and just black like basketball shorts.
So you look like a bad rapper.
And I was like, oh my God. And you see, we were in like a public area, so you see the people around. I'm like,
you stood out.
I'm like, oh my God, people must have looked at me like I was crazy. Mm-hmm. And so the last 2 times I've went, I have dressed differently to try to look closer to what somebody in Europe
I don't know that anybody
like.
Though in Germany, where Max is from, or anybody, they're not wearing those dolphin shorts though, the running shorts.
I don't know, maybe.
I mean, seriously,
I haven't been, so I don't know.
People don't wear them. They didn't. They were on call.
But style is different in Europe. So you would try to dress closer to it.
Closer to it. Like I know my friends just got back. My godson got married in Italy. I wasn't able to travel for the wedding.
Yeah.
But I would absolutely have been researching to make sure that I wasn't doing anything that was going to offend the people where they were.
Right. How about that?
I would absolutely, because I would not want to be the ugly American. I would not want to be the American that they go, see that guy? He comes over to our country and acts like an ass. I would want to be somebody that they go, please come back. You're welcome anytime.
Yeah. Last time I was there, I saw somebody on the main strip in the capital city wearing a United States political T-shirt.
Oh, geez. Seriously?
And I just wanted to smack him upside the head.
So why do you need to do that? Why do you need to do that? We saw when we went to Jamaica in March, there were people on our plane offending that thing.
Yeah.
From both sides.
Yeah, from both sides, right.
But they were getting onto the plane.
You're going on vacation.
I'm like, why are you doing that? You're trying to get a rise out of people.
That's exactly
on a plane.
What it is.
Now, then there were also people getting onto the plane. I'm seeing armpit hair from the dudes.
Yeah, you got to wear sleeves.
You got to wear sleeves. And I want to see your armpit hair. And there were people wearing like absolute flip-flops on a plane. No.
Totally fine with that.
No, it's not.
Totally fine with that.
Now I have to sit next to you. Nobody wants to smell your feet on a plane.
Well, my feet are
Put
clean.
socks on your damn feet on a plane.
No, my socks smell worse than my feet.
Gosh.
Everybody have a great rest of your day.
We love you.
Listener-centered
and they're going to be fun. Oh, it's fun tomorrow. And I'm keeping it a secret, but it's fun tomorrow.
All right. We'll do that tomorrow. See you guys. Hey guys, Andrew Salciunas from Kincade and Salciunas. Thank you for checking out all of our stuff on YouTube. Make sure you click, like, subscribe on everything that you see. And of course, you can see everything from our YouTube feed. Full shows, interviews, when John's being an idiot, which is like 15 times a day. So make sure you check out all of our stuff on YouTube. We appreciate it.